So this is the podcast, right?
This is the podcast.
We both we're here, but then like you're looking on your computer, I'm on my phone, like, and that's just it. It's just like an hour of this.
I would hope not. About a week and a half ago, I'm gonna say, I thought I might have COVID. Ended up only being a 24-hour flu. Yeah.
Fun.
But I thought, okay, that's over and done with. Not COVID. Everybody's safe, because obviously with our job, we come in contact with a lot of people, or at least in the area of a lot of people. And then, my roommate, they have a baby. So a little bit scared, but no COVID. We're good. And I thought everything was just going to kind of go back to, quote unquote, the norm as we are right now.
Okay.
But then we had a beautiful lightning thunderstorm on that very Monday, and it was gorgeous. It was like some of the photos that people were taking of the lightning, they were just fantastical, just magical photos of the Golden Gate Bridge with lightning in the background and the waves doing the things that waves do best. But then it starts a big fire. And it's not like a fire that's all the way out and, oh, that sucks. There's a fire over there. No, it's right over there. Right over there. It was...
How close was it?
5 minutes away. And...
so, like 5 miles? I don't... well, it's in, not LA, but it's in California. So 5 minutes is probably, what, like 10 feet?
Okay, I'm gonna skip over that insult, and it was, I would argue, maybe about like 2-3 miles that way. Maybe somebody in the local area is probably going to correct me, but let me put it to you this way: it was close enough to which that we had to evacuate. And it wasn't something where I personally was emotionally and mentally ready for, because when I got home, on Wednesday, I jumped on the stream and I started to play Apex, and then my fiance walks in and she says, "I'm sorry to have to do this, but we gotta go." And I knew what she was talking about. Also, she didn't have such a low voice, but I knew what she was talking about. I was like, okay, stream, chat, I gotta go. And I don't even know if I said goodbye. I just ended the chat, turned my computer off. We packed up, we went to a hotel. Luckily, we're fine. I mean, obviously, we're okay here. Nothing was destroyed here, but unfortunately, we do know a couple of families that were directly affected and afflicted by the fires. So, yeah, it sucks.
That's unfortunate.
I mean, Aurelia was kind of scrolling through photos of the affected areas here in Vacaville on Facebook, and I'm new to this town, so I'm still like, oh, like I kind of know where that is. She was like, she would look at a photo. She looked at a photo of a place and she said, "Holy crap! I used to work there." I'm like, oh my god! And it's
oh geez,
it's this fairly sizable estate. And the only thing, so think of I would say, just real in your head, think of a McMansion. Okay, not super big, but also not super small. So bigger than a standard size house. They apparently also had a guest house. Yeah, there's no guest house. There's no house. There's no barn. There's no place set. The only thing that's left standing is the front gate, like the gate to let your car in.
Jeez,
that's it. And the only reason why she recognized it was because of the front gate. Otherwise, there was nothing there whatsoever. So, on Saturday, we did a charity stream. We were able to raise over $120 for the firefighters here in the local area.
There you go.
That went very well. But yeah, the fires, from what I can tell, they've contained it. I know there's fires all the way out in Denver as well, too. We're not the only ones affected by this. It's end of days, my friend. That's my point. It's end of days. Go do all the things that you've ever wanted to do because it doesn't matter.
Well, I'm glad you and your family are safe. I'm glad. So is the fire out? Are they done, or did they just push it back?
It's I don't know how much contained it is right now. 33% is contained. It's still active. It's across 5 counties.
Okay.
And it has reached over 357 acres. This is the second largest wildfire in Northern California history.
Wow, that's not fun.
No, it's one of those competitions that I hope we lose, but apparently we're winning.
Well, speaking of like disasters and stuff, I wanted to ask you, because I don't think we've ever had this conversation. What's the worst, like your worst car crashes you've either seen or been a part of?
Oh,
and I don't mean like, oh, you just saw on the side of the road. You're like, oh, that car is like was on fire. You're like, you saw the car go.
Are you talking about? are you specifically talking about the aftermath of the car crash? Or like I actually seeing it happen in real time?
Seeing it happen.
Seeing it happen. I guess the worst that I've seen happen
or road incidents, if I can broaden it just a tiny bit for you.
And this also obviously doesn't count of watching car crash compilations on YouTube.
No, absolutely not. So I'll give you my example. One of the scariest things that I've seen is we were driving back from my wife's surgery. It wasn't like the day of her skin removal surgery. It was like a day or two after. But as we're heading back, we're in the carpool lane, and in front of us is no, we weren't in the carpool. It was like a lane over. Anyway, there was a trailer hauling about 8 or 10 golf carts, like just all in a row, like just a big old flatbed, and then just golf carts all the way down. And they're, an appropriate distance in front of us, and one of the golf carts comes loose and just starts tumbling on the road. And it's fantastic and terrifying at the same time. The car's screaming at me, slow down, shoot. Luckily, the trajectory of the crashing golf cart rolled into the other lane, so it was no longer in anyone's way, but at the same time, it was just like, oh, geez.
Oh, God. But you guys were...
Yeah, and, like, you got to think it's after her surgery, and so, like, you don't want to have any sort of high motion for her, and so I'm trying to like slow down gently but fast enough where we're safe, but not fast enough where I'm slamming her into her seatbelt and hurting her.
Dang. So did you have to go to a complete stop?
It was fun.
Or?
No, as it was rolling, it rolled into the shoulder.
Okay.
So we were able to just keep going. Luckily, those things are resilient. There was like no debris.
The golf carts?
Like as it's rolling at 70 miles an hour and just like smashing itself. I mean, like the little like shade piece like broke and stuff, but it didn't like shatter and like, pieces going everywhere. It was just rolling.
Gotcha. Well, I'm glad that you guys were okay. Was there any kind of aftermath for the people behind you that they were like in more danger than you, or it was all pretty much?
As far as I know, no. It luckily rolled into the shoulder, and hopefully the guy realized that he lost a golf cart.
Did he stop, or did he?
I don't know. We just kept going. He wasn't going as fast as us, and so we just hauled around him and kept doing our thing.
Can you imagine him getting to the depot? And I brought you 7 golf carts. We ordered 8. Did you, though? I don't think.
Maybe you didn't have to.
What do you need 8 for?
What do you mean? By the way, you're still paying for 8, though. There's a convenience fee of a golf cart.
It's a nice rounded number. I like even numbers.
Yes. Yes, I prefer even, and we don't round down ever.
Does that? No, I think talking about the accidents that you've seen or accidents that that have been in my purview, incidentally, was caused by me, but I personally was not affected.
Texting and driving.
I was not affected. So here's what happened. It was rush hour, arguably, and we were all crossing a bridge, and then on the other side of the bridge is a toll plaza. Now, as we're crossing this bridge, we were going about 55 miles an hour, and I was not texting or driving, but I also wasn't completely, I was a little bit zoned out as I'm, driving essentially straight. And when I kind of came to, I realized, oh, the person in front of me is slowing down. I should slow down too. But instead of a gradual slowdown, I just slammed on the brakes. And unfortunately, when I did that, it caused a ripple effect. And this ripple effect caused everybody else behind me to just slam on their brake. And I looked in my side view mirror, and I see 3 cars go kadunk, kadunk, kadunk. One car, the back end of his car just lifts up, just completely lifts up.
No.
Yeah. So 3 cars, kadunk, kadunk, kadunk. Back end goes up, and again, we're still on a bridge. So there was a little bit of fear that the car itself would fly up enough to fall off the bridge. That didn't happen, but a little bit of fear. I don't know what happened after that, because I saw the kadunks and I was like, I got we just gonna go. Just gonna go. Is it my fault? In a way, but it's also their fault too, because somebody behind wasn't paying close enough attention to the other people in front, or they're following way too close. This is why, and with all due respect to you, your wife, and our friends in Salt Lake City, but when I was in the cars with you guys, all of you, including you, tailgate. This is why I don't.
I do not.
I saw you tailgate, sir. I saw you tailgate.
I do not tailgate.
Yes, you do.
I do not. I turn on the car settings. I let the car drive. I do not tailgate.
I saw you tailgate twice. Even in this isn't Saint. Is this Saint that you have, or the other one was Saint? This is Saint.
The other one was Sonic.
I saw you tailgating in Saint. Your auto drive was turned off.
I do not tailgate. My favorite thing is to tease my wife about it, and I'll sit there and I'm holding the oh crap handle, right? And I look at her and I look forward and I look at her again and I'm like, you trying to find out what they had for breakfast? I do not believe you, because I do not tailgate. Now, mind you, it might have been it might have been a situation where it just kind of happened without my choice, but I actively avoid that.
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt in that regard, but I know she's probably listening, so I will say this with the utmost respect and love.
You tailgate, Maddie.
You tailgate, Aurelia. Both of our loves tailgate, and that's one of the things that I've noticed from her. It's not as bad as another friend of ours that we will not say their name, but I know you know who I'm talking about. But There are some times when my fiance's driving and I'm in the passenger seat, just like you, just like, why do we need to be this close? We're not in a hurry. We will be fine.
They don't even have bumper stickers to read. There's no reading material here.
But yeah, that was one of the things that went through my head. Like, did I truly cause that accident? And the answer is both yes and no, right? Because I did cause the domino effect. But I truly feel that because of the domino effect that was caused, if everybody else was far enough distance behind each other, what is it? Like, you're supposed to count 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, or something. Is
it 2 seconds or
is it 3 or 2 seconds?
3.
Whatever it is, it's.
I don't know. I keep my car set at 2 seconds, and that seems to be plenty. Like, I never have. There's an indicator on the car that, like, if you're approaching an object or a vehicle too fast, it kind of goes beep 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 and yells at you.
My car
right?
does that too.
I never set it off unless they are like what you did, hard slamming on their brakes. And it'd have to be substantially hard before I start getting close enough where the car's like, we're coming up a little fast.
I've only done that once where my car actually slammed the brakes on for me, and that was
because your new car has that,
and that was terrifying because I was fully attentive to what was going on, and all I was doing was changing lanes as the other car in front of me was changing lanes. But for whatever reason, the car was like, oh, it looks like the car's right in front of you. Brake. I'm like, no, it's fine. We're fine. You don't need to do this. Why are you doing this?
No, what's funny is I had a fail as well from that. We were driving just an empty freeway. Like, all 4 lanes are just completely empty. No big deal. And I'm talking to my passenger, and there's like a little trash bag that's kind of floating along, right? And it floats right in front of us. And I've got the cruise control set and everything. And I'm like, oh, no, we're going to hit the bag. And the car goes, oh, no, we're going to hit the bag. It slams on the brakes and makes the like, no. And I it only happened for a half second because I tapped the gas to no, we're fine. But it was just so funny because it was like, it was perfect timing. Oh, no, we're going to hit the bag. No!
Like, oh, calm down, Saint. It's fine. Seriously.
I mean, I'd rather have it, do that kind of thing than not. But it's
agree.
It was so funny timing.
Yeah.
My word.
I agree.
But that's the worst accident that you've seen in person?
In person, yeah. Because
Okay.
I mean, because I've seen accidents in the aftermath.
Right. I'm sure we've seen all sorts of stuff in that way.
There was another instance that we were driving on Interstate 80, and I point that out because people that are aware of Interstate 80 know how crazy drivers can be. This was quite late at night. I was leaving San Francisco, going back home, and there were these 2 rice rockets. There are these 2 rice rockets doing whatever rice rockets do. There's
rice rockets.
They're zipping in and out your quintessential Fast and the Furious cars.
Okay.
One was a Skyline. I know one was a Skyline. I don't know what the other one was, but your quintessential Fast and Furious cars, they were zipping and zooming out of traffic. There wasn't a lot of traffic, but there were enough cars. And they were doing it in such a way that it was obvious to all the other people around us that they were just trying to show off how cool their cars were with the underglow and everything like that. And
right.
I thought, well, that's annoying because I'm going 65 miles an hour. I'm not trying to get into anybody's way. But, I just, there are times for me personally, there are times where cool cars like that are cool. And there are other times where it's like cool cars like that are just a nuisance. And right now, in my opinion, they're just being a nuisance. So they're zipping in and out. A couple of their maneuvers were a little bit tricky, but it is what it is. And then 15 minutes later, cop cars are speeding by us. And then one of the cop cars does one of those weaving in and out of all the lanes to kind of slow down everybody. And
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and my wife at the time looked over at me and she said, it's probably those two rice rockets. And I immediately agreed with her, as I hope they're okay. I hope they didn't do anything. Once we finally came upon the accident, because there was an accident, one of them smashed into the guardrail and the other one was flipped upside down.
Oh, jeez, they both crashed.
Both of them crashed. There was a third car on the other side of the not on the other side of the freeway, but on the shoulder.
Okay.
And its back end was all
Munched.
screwed up, and it was just terrifying. And I don't know if the drivers were okay, but yeah, it's
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, right? But it's definitely one of those things where it's like, I don't know if they were being chased by the cops in the first place, or if the cops came because of the aftermath that ensued. But either way, this is one of those things that I just cannot stand with irresponsible drivers, is that we're not in a race. No one cares what your car looks like. Okay? We all just want to go home or wherever we're going to. What you do in your car, like the other thing with me is I like bass. I like to have a lot of bass in my car, but I specifically got a subwoofer that is really generating enough bass for me, not for everybody else.
No, I'm a big fan of like the you should be seen, not heard.
Yeah, no, seriously.
If I can hear your car a half mile away, I immediately am like I always think about people who are driving like the motorcycles that have like the I don't know what it is, the short throw muffler, whatever it is that makes them super loud. And I'm like, okay, one, your ears.
Right.
And then two, like, in what universe does someone like go to the window and like, there's someone with an amazing motorcycle, I must run out and see it.
Have you seen that video?
No one's done that.
Have you seen that video?
Oh yeah. No, the little skit from like years ago.
Yeah,
where they're all the guys are like, someone's got the
and he calls his mom. It's like, Mom, there's a motorcycle outside.
Oh my word. We've got to. Oh my word. Yeah. No, I've never understood it.
Yeah.
No, the worst aftermath, like not the worst aftermath, but the saddest aftermath I've seen is I was driving home and I was like 2 minutes from home and there was like an accident and there was the fire truck. And as I'm passing the fire truck, because we were going so slow, I glance over and they're doing CPR on someone, very clearly CPR on someone. And then I get home and my grandmother at the time is watching the news and they're like, hey, there was a crash on this street and someone passed away.
Oh my God.
And the EMS was trying CPR. And I'm like,
yeah, I saw that.
So,
I was right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think the other worst accident that I've seen is we were driving to my cousin's birthday. We were going to a restaurant and her friend had bought her one of those like Mrs. Fields cookie cakes.
Ooh.
And we had it in my trunk of my Jeep, right? And we when we put it in there, she goes, if you like, cause that thing to break, it's your fault. And I'm like, okay, unless someone else causes it, like unless I have to keep us safe for an accident or something. And she goes, okay, deal. So we're driving on the freeway and it's pretty slow traffic. No, it's pretty heavy traffic. We were actually hauling pretty fast for how many cars were on the road, but somebody decided to get over a few lanes and there was cars there. And so this like Mustang ran into this guy who ran into this guy who came over into my lane, and I had to like slam on all of the brakes in order to not hit them. It was like a 3 or 4 car pileup, like right in front of us, just bam, 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 like going across the freeway. I had to like careen through like some of the debris while coming to a stop.
Oh my God.
Like, please don't shred my tires. I know this is a Jeep, but still, please don't shred my tires. Metal doesn't care.
So we actually have a really good insight since we are live, twitch.tv/LazyTechTony. Again, we're trying to get our own channel, but Quinnton and I keep on forgetting to do it. But one of my friends actually has his own motorcycle, and from his point of view, he says, coming from a rider's stance, having a louder exhaust offers a little more noticeability when it comes to drivers who don't pay attention. What do you think about that point of view?
I see the point, but I don't like. There's got to be a better way, because like you got to have like the ability to turn that on or off or something. Like, yeah, like there's got to be a better way, because that, especially when you're off the freeway and you're like in a residential or something, you're going home. That's annoying. Stop. Fine. I understand it for like the highway or something. Totally get it. But yeah, no, you need to be able to shut that thing off when you go into a residential.
I mean, I think what we're talking about are people that aren't necessarily just driving and revving that engine for noticeability of safety. They're doing it for noticeability of showing off. And so for noticeability of safety, there definitely have been times, because here in California, motorcycles are allowed to split the lane. And so for noticeability of safety, if I'm listening to like, heavy metal music, I'm going to be focusing on the road, heavy metal music in my eardrums. And if I'm safe, I'm going to be looking at every single mirror that I have. But if you have a loud, large engine coming from your motorcycle, yes, that's going to help. The problem that I have are people that over abuse that noticeability and just rev it just to rev it to no end in sight. There's no point to the revving. It's the same issue that I have with people doing donuts right outside our house right here. There's enough room. Yes. Guess what else there are a lot of in this area? A lot of kids. And kids tend to do silly things, and they might get excited to see, hey, what's going on out there? Ooh, cool. It's like a miniature sideshow. Cool. Let me go take a look at that. Boom. They got hit. Okay. I mean, I'm looking at it from a parental point of view, and I've done some stupid things when I was younger as well, too. Even last week, I did some stupid things. But when we used to race, because I used to race back in like college, we had lookouts every major intersection and minor intersection. We were as safe as unsafe the sport itself was, because we weren't on a track, we were on a street. It was an open street. It wasn't as coordinated as they show you in the movies, but it was somewhat coordinated.
You made it work.
We made it work. And so I don't do that anymore. I get the allure of the illegal side of it, like where you feel like a rebel, you feel like you're strong enough and you're big enough and I guess man enough to some degree to be able to do those certain acts. But when you start putting everybody else at risk or start doing something that affects everybody else who in a residential area might be trying to sleep or might be trying to do something else, all you're going to get is a noise complaint. No, we're not going to come out of our doors like, oh my God, your donuts are amazing. Look at the figure eight you're causing. Like, no, I hate the smell of rubber right now. I don't need it.
I'm trying to eat dinner and you're making me sick.
So, there are moments in this podcast where you and I don't know what to talk about, and we will scrub through Reddit aimlessly, trying like, oh, does this sound good? Does that sound good? Like, I don't know, maybe this sounds good. So what I came across was this thing called pod decks, and pod decks is essentially 50 different cards that have 50 different interview questions, because this is the interview deck, and then over here I have the episode deck, where the whole episode would be on whatever topic that we pull from this. So just for fun for right now, we will do one of the questions from this deck, from the interview deck, and we'll see how this goes. And yes, essentially these are just icebreaker questions, you know.
What you need to do is you need to shuffle that deck with Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah, then some of those cards that we'll get in Cards Against Humanity will also get us banned for here on Twitch.
I was going to say, on what platform? All platforms.
All of them.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. All right. Quinnton, pick a card, any card.
That one.
All right.
Right in the middle.
All right.
No, to the left.
This? Oh.
Yeah,
this
that's
one?
good.
This
Yeah.
one?
That one.
All right,
that
this one here.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's it say? Is it the 4 of clubs?
What do you consider your greatest achievement?
Oh. Haven't we done this one?
Have we?
I don't know. I don't know.
You want to come back to that?
Should I get all
Introspective?
sentimental?
Okay. If you feel like it's a great achievement, then yeah, maybe.
Finding love.
Oh, God. I mean, okay, sure. I mean, one could argue that could constitute as an achievement. I was kind of thinking that you were going to pull one of your Xbox achievements and count that. But
there you go. What's your greatest achievement? Oh, we're talking Xbox achievements, right? Okay, flawless raider, done.
Okay, well, congratulations.
I've speaking of achievements, just side tangent. Since I got that achievement, it's been my pinned achievement, like since then. So it's been there for 5 years.
Flawless raider. So that was in what game?
Destiny 1.
Okay.
It was running a raid without anyone on the team dying.
Oh. Not dying. What about? Okay, you'll have to remind me, because in Destiny, when you die, there's you got your ghosts. They can come back, but nobody had to use
that counts as a death. No one had
to use their ghost.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nope.
All right.
You can get damaged, but you can't go down.
So does that mean everybody else in the raid got that achievement too?
Yep.
Cool. I mean, I would say one of my greatest achievements is that it kind of counts but kind of doesn't count. In high school, for our final project, as a music student, we had to either play a piece with the orchestra backing us up in front of an audience. So we would play a movement from a concerto or something,
right?
Or in a more not sentimental, but in a more smaller setting, it would be playing a solo with the pianist, someone who plays the piano, a piece. There you go. But you had to audition for to be able to play the piece in front of the orchestra. Okay. So I auditioned to do this. I got the ability to play with the orchestra. I believe it was Popper's Tarantella, which is basically tarantula, and it went off. I wouldn't say it went off without a hitch, but it was one of my most. It was when playing music. It was when I was most happiest playing music, because my parents were in the audience, all my friends were there. Did I have a girlfriend at the time? Do they count? I was seeing 2 girls at the same time, so it was weird. But I think at least one of them was there. They didn't know. And
oh my word.
And And no, but it just everything came together, and it was just beautiful. And unfortunately, this was like before our family got a camcorder, so I don't have any recordings or any photos of it at all, which is a little bit upsetting. So that's why, like, when my daughter or my son or Aurelia's son does any kind of performance, I got my camera, I've got my iPhone, I'm just ready to record it, just to have it as a recorded memory, so we can always talk about it. Yeah, I miss playing, but I also don't miss playing. It's weird.
Yeah, I don't know what I count as my personal best achievement. I guess the closest thing I can think of offhand is when I was growing up, I was told you'll never make money playing video games, and I guess I kind of proved that wrong.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, especially when we were launching like the Xbox One X and stuff. Like, yeah, that was a true like, no.
Yeah. No, I definitely feel like that's one of those things where, and you and I kind of joked about it, talking to our other colleagues when we were training people how to stream and stuff like that, where one of the things that you can do is turn around to your family and literally say, you know how you said streaming wouldn't get me nowhere? Well, I'm doing this for work now, so hats off to you.
There you go.
Catch me outside or something. I don't know.
Let's see another one of those cards.
All right, I'm going to pull another one here. What will people look back at us 50 years from now and be shocked and appalled? Well, this is a very interesting time. And I think...
I was going to say, I'm like, that... Okay, rule number 1, you can't use 2020, because I feel like that's just
that's
cheating. Yeah, like, you can't use what encompasses 2020, because seriously, like, all of that is just, like, going to be cheating in the future. No, you got to pick something that's more personal. More
personal?
Yeah.
So shocked and appalled by something that I do, you mean?
Or something that, like, society does, but it can't be a 2020 society thing.
Well, that's hard. That's actually...
Like, I'm personally... I hope that the amount of, like, fossil fuel, looking at what we use versus 50 years from now, is going to be like, they use so much. So much.
Well, if we're gonna take it to that level, then again, kind of in the same vein, I would hope that in 50 years from now, the whole global warming concern is more than just a concern. It is front of mind of everybody, and it's no longer a conspiracy. It is something that it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on, they're trying to actively minimize global warming and minimize the melting of the polar ice caps. And it kind of goes into what you're talking about, because arguably, if in 50 years from now they're using much less fossil fuel, that means a lot less of the stuff goes into the air that would make it hotter, that makes the polar ice caps melt. So
right,
it kind of is entwined with the thing that you're saying.
Yeah, no, I think that'd be nice. Non-environmental stuff, though. I mean, it's kind of in the environmental vein, but it'd be kind of cool to see, like, the synthetically grown meat really take off.
Okay, like the Impossible Burgers and things like that become more commonplace, you're saying?
Yeah, more just standardized and just like, this is fine.
Yeah.
Because I know, like, apparently the one at, I can't remember which fast food chain, but they've got an Impossible Burger, but you look at the sodium content and it's like half your day, if not more. Like, for just the patty.
It's probably
like, okay.
It's probably Burger King.
That would be my guess.
Yeah.
That sounds right. But yeah, it's just like, why?
Yeah, I think going along that track, if people were a little bit more open to alternative meats or alternative proteins, and it became commonplace, being a vegan or vegetarian wouldn't be such a standoff thing. It would just be
Right.
something. It'd just be like, hey, so we've got chicken and then we got impossible. Oh, cool. We'll throw in the impossible with some barbecue sauce. It's not like, ooh, cringy or anything like that. So
Right.
whatever we got in the future, and then hopefully we can use that livestock for something else. And I realize like there's a ton of like people out there, farmers in particular.
Or the space.
Yeah, that.
Well, those farmers like as I was reading something that's like it was talking about the lab grown meat, because it's not just like the Impossible Burger where it's like, no, it actually doesn't have any meat. No, we're talking like still meat, just grown in a lab in a vat.
Oh,
instead.
right,
And
right. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're saying that like a lot of the projections would see like a lot of those farmers become people who could grow that stuff. And then there'd be obviously an agriculture shift and all that kind of stuff, but it'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what else, like, I don't know what is more, like, because we're talking, like, huge broad stroke things, right? We're talking, like, environment and all this other stuff. But it's like, what's something very small that something 50 years from now people would be like, what are you doing?
TikTok.
I mean, that could be like one. The way internet trends work, that could be 1 year. Are you kidding me?
I know.
No, I could see VR in 50 years being like looking back at what we have now and being like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Just kind of looking at our cell phone technology as well too. Like, 50 years from now, the slab that you and I have come to know and love, maybe a translucent, foldable device will come to fruition, and that's going to be the norm 50 years from now. Just looking at technology that we see as retro, like record players and whatnot. Back in the day, were groundbreaking. The thing that we're using right now, the computer that you and I have, the console that we play, is going to be obsolete. There's gonna be some other technology, maybe through quantum computing, that becomes cheaper for everybody. I mean, hell, maybe 50 years from now, cryptocurrency won't be so crypto. It'll just be currency.
Right.
And I know that's a stretch. I get it. Fine. But we're speculating here.
We're 50 years from now. We're just imagining.
Yeah.
Stop reading too far into it.
Yeah, Jeff. It's your problem. So yeah, that's shocked and appalled. The kind of protein intake, the kind of technology that we have, and how we are destroying the earth.
I like this deck. I'm excited to see more of it.
Yeah. Thank you, Poddex. It's not sponsored, but thank you, Poddex. If you have your own podcast and you want to check it out, poddex.com. But we're going to pull from these. If we have nothing else to talk about, it will sit next to my desk here. Just
you know what? No, better yet, you're never going to know whether we pull from it or not.
There we go. Well, hey guys, thanks a lot for watching and listening. If you'd like, you can go to twitch.tv/LazyTechTony and watch live until we finally move it over to the still recording channel. But as of right now, that's where this sits live. Otherwise, you can watch us video on YouTube/still recording podcast. And if you want to follow us individually, Quinnton, where can people find you?
On Instagram, Xbox, and Twitch at Firewall.
I turned the camera to me when I was supposed to.
I saw
you. That. You can find me at those places under Lazy Tech Tony. All my other links are in the description down below. And also, there is a Discord server called the Lazy Squad, wonderful name. But in that server, there is a channel specific to the Still Recording podcast. If you'd like to go over there and discuss some of the things that we've been discussing, Jinx has granted, rather graced his presence in the live chat talking about motorcycles and stuff like that. That's awesome. We'd love to get more discussion from you guys in that channel. So check out the Discord. And in the meantime, guys, be safe, be good to each other and to yourself. We'll talk to you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Heart